Hello from Kingfisher, Oklahoma. Today we're going to look at 7 things from Numbers 15 and 16. Well, we've had a lot of complaining and a lot of things happen. So, number 1, God rehearses with the people the laws for the offering that they're going to use when they get in the land. He's talking about their sin and what they can do to get right before God. After all the problems they've had, they've got to bring animals, they've got to bring bread. That he tells them also what they should do as a nation. So God is reiterating with them his expectation. 2, then shortly after, we see a man breaks the Sabbath. He's out there gathering wood for his fire, and the community is told to stone the man to death, and so they do. You would think that people would really pay attention after all the things that happened, but it seems that whether it's now or then, people are people. We just do what we want, and that's not a good thing. That's called sin. 3, the nation shall make the fringe of their garments blue to remind them of the law. So they've got that fringe, and it's supposed to, every time they see it, it's supposed to remind them of the commandments of God and what they should be doing. Now, chapter 16. The children of Israel are in rebellion again. No surprise. Hey, there's 3 guys that are named here, plus about 250 people, and they confront Moses and Aaron. And they say, hey, why are you always the one talking to God? We're a holy nation. Any one of us should be able to do it. And Moses and Aaron both respond. They fall on their faces in humility. They're not about to defend themselves, but they push it over into God's court and say, God is really the one that's going to decide what's going to happen. So number 5, they're going to take censers, these little things of incense, and they're going to bring them before the Lord. Each man of the 250 have to bring a censer before God, and Aaron is going to bring his also. And these other 3 guys are in the camp. So they're going to stand before God, and God is going to make it known, who is it really that should be leading the nation? Well, number 6, and no surprise, God is upset with the people who are in rebellion and not following. And he opens up the earth and swallows these 3 guys in camp. Moses pleads with God that he won't hurt anybody else, but just the people who are in rebellion. And that's exactly what happens. The men and their families swallowed up in the earth, something that had never happened before. And then the 250 guys who are standing before God's tabernacle with their incense, fire comes out of the tabernacle and consumes those guys. Pretty crazy. You would think we'd learn our lesson as people. Did you hear? Did you hear? Fire came out when we rebelled against God. Let's toe the mark. Let's get in line here. But no, the very next day, the people are complaining. The whole nation is, oh my goodness, it feels like it anyway. A lot of the people are complaining to God. These guys should not be leading us. And God gets angry again. And he sends a plague among the people who are complaining and fighting and rebelling. And they start dying. Well, Moses cares for the people, so he sends Aaron with his censer out there to make atonement for the people and pray that God will stop the plague. And the plague stops. They take the censers of the dead guys and they make a memorial for it. And goodness, we just wonder, when will the rebellion end of these Israelites? And to be fair, it's going to be a long time. They consistently, over the history, rebel and rebel and rebel. And you just scratch your head and go, come on, guys, or come on, man, what are you doing? But let's be fair. Let's look at our nation. Are we doing the right thing? Or are we in rebellion against God? Goodness gracious, we are in rebellion against God. And look at our own lives. We know what we should be doing, probably. I mean, if you're a Christian and you follow Christ, you know what you should be doing. But do you do it? Do I do it? Ooh, that's tough. We're always in rebellion. That's why we need Jesus. Plain and simple. That's why we need him. Let's get into our chapter here, chapter 15. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye be come into the land of your habitations which I give you, and will make an offering by fire to the Lord, and burnt offering, or a sacrifice in performing a vow, or in a freewill offering, or in your solemn feast, to make sweet savor unto the Lord of the herd or of the flock, then he shall bring his offering unto the Lord, and it will bring a meat offering, 1/10 of a deal of flour, mingled with 1/4 of a part of a hin of oil. And the 4th part of the hin of wine, for a drink offering shalt thou prepare, with a burnt offering, or sacrifice for 1 lamb. Or for a ram, thou shalt prepare a meat offering of 2/10 deal flour, mingled with 1/3 of a hin of oil. And for a drink offering thou shalt bring 1/3 of a hin of wine, for a sweet savor unto the Lord. And when thou preparest a bullock for a burnt offering, or for a sacrifice in performing a vow, or peace offerings to the Lord, then thou shalt bring with a bullock a meat offering, 3/10 deal of flour, mingled with 1/2 a hin of oil. And thou shalt bring for a drink offering 1/2 a hin of wine. I think a hin is 10 ounces, so 1/2 a hin, obviously 5. Or an offering made by fire of a sweet savor unto the Lord. Thus shall it be done for 1 bullock, or for 1 ram, or 1 lamb, or 1 kid, according to the number that ye shall prepare. So ye shall do, everyone according to their number. All that were born of the country shall do these things after this manner, an offering made by fire of a sweet savor unto the Lord. And if a stranger sojourn with you, or whosoever be among you of the generations, and will offer offerings made by fire of the sweet savor to the Lord, as ye do, so shall he do. 1 ordinance shall be both for you of the congregation, and for the stranger that sojourneth with you. It's an ordinance forever for your generations. As ye are, so shall the stranger be before the Lord. 1 law, 1 manner shall be for you, the stranger and sojourneth with you. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye come into the land which I bring you, then it shall be that when ye eat of the bread of the land, ye shall offer up a heave offering before the Lord. Ye shall offer up a cake of the first of your dough as a heave offering. You will do the heave offering on the threshing floor, so you will heave it. Of the first of your dough you shall give unto the Lord a heave offering in your generations. And if ye have erred, and not observed all the commandments which the Lord has spoken unto Moses, even all the Lord hath commanded you by the hand of Moses, from that day the Lord commanded Moses, and henceforth from your generations. Then it shall be, if aught committed by ignorance, without knowledge of the congregation, that the congregation shall offer 1 young bullock for a burnt offering, for a sweet savory offering to the Lord, with his meat offering and his drink offering, according to the manner, and 1 kid of the goats for the sin offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for all the congregation of the children of Israel, and it shall be forgiven them, for it is ignorance. And they shall bring their offering, a sacrifice made by fire to the Lord, of their sin offering before the Lord, for their ignorance, and it shall be forgiven the congregation of the children of Israel, and the stranger that sojourneth among them, seeing all the people were in ignorance. And if any soul sin through ignorance, it shall be, they shall bring a she-goat for the first year of the sin offering. And the priest shall make atonement for the soul that sinneth ignorantly. When he that sinneth ignorantly before the Lord shall make atonement for him, it will be forgiven. So if you didn't know it was a sin, and then you, oh shoot, I did that, or you just didn't recognize it, then this is your offering here. You shall have 1 law for him that sinneth through ignorance, both for him that is born of the children of Israel, and the stranger that sojourneth among them. But the soul that doeth aught presumptuously, whether he be born in the land or a stranger, the same reproacheth the Lord, that the soul shall be cut off from his people, because he hath despised the word of the Lord, and he hath broken his commandment, and the soul shall utterly be cut off. His iniquity shall be on him. So, if you're doing it on purpose, eesh. And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man that gathered sticks upon the Sabbath day. And they found him gathering sticks, brought him to Moses and Aaron and all the congregation. And they put him in ward, because it was not declared what should be done. And the Lord said to Moses, The man shall surely be put to death. All the congregation shall stone him with stones without the camp. And all the congregation brought him up without the camp and stoned him with stones, and he died, as the Lord commanded Moses. And the Lord spake unto Moses, Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they should make fringes on the borders of their garments throughout their generations. And they shall put the fringe on the borders of the garment riband of blue. And it shall be for you a fringe, that you look upon it, and remember all the commandments of the Lord, and do them. And that ye seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which ye used to go a-whoring. That ye may remember and do all my commandments, and be holy unto the Lord. I am the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt. To be your God, I am the Lord your God. So when it says a-whoring, it just means you're not faithful to God. And we're really called to be faithful. All right, chapter 16. Now Korah, the son of Ishur, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, and Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and On, the son of Peleth, sons of Reuben, took men. And they rose up before Moses and a certain of the children of Israel, 250 princes of the assembly, famous in the congregation, men of renown. And they gathered themselves together against Moses and Aaron and said to them, it just strikes me that sometimes when we are men of renown, when we're famous people, we think the laws don't apply to us. We think we're better. Better to be humble. Then this kind of stuff won't happen. They gathered themselves together against Moses and Aaron and said to them, Ye take on too much, seeing all the congregation are holy, every one of them, and the Lord is among them. Wherefore, or why, then lift ye yourselves up in the congregation of the Lord. And when Moses heard it, he fell on his face, and he spake unto Korah and unto all the company, saying, Even tomorrow the Lord shall show who are his, and who is holy, and will cause him to come near unto him. Even him who he hath chosen will cause him to come near unto him. This do. Take your censers, Korah and all his company, and put fire therein, and put incense in them before the Lord tomorrow. And it shall be that the man whom the Lord doth choose, he shall be holy. Ye take on too much upon ye, ye sons of Levi. And Moses said to Korah, Hear, I pray you, sons of Levi, seeming if it be a small thing to you, that the Lord God of Israel has separated you from the congregation, to bring you near to himself, and to do the service of the tabernacle, and to stand before the congregation to minister to them. Remember, these are sons of Levi, so they even are special too. And he hath brought thee near to him, and all your brethren, the sons of Levi, with thee. And seek ye the priesthood also? For which cause both thou and all thy company are gathered together against the Lord. And what is Aaron that ye murmur against him? And Moses sent a call to Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and said, We will not come up. Is it a small thing that thou hast brought us up out of the land that floweth of milk and honey, to kill us in the wilderness? Except that thou make thyself altogether a prince over us? Moreover, thou hast not brought us into the land that floweth with milk and honey, or given us inheritance of fields or vineyards. Wilt thou put out the eyes of these men? We will not come up. So they're in rebellion even against Moses here. And to be fair, it's not Moses' fault that the people rebelled against God and were not allowed to be into the promised land. How soon we forget how things actually are. And Moses was very wroth, and said unto the Lord, Respect not their offerings. I have not taken one ass from them, neither have I hurt one of them. And Moses said to Korah, Be thou and all thy company before the Lord, thou and they, and Aaron tomorrow. Every man take a censer, and put incense in them. And bring ye before the Lord every man a censer, 250 censers. Thou also, and Aaron, each of you his censer. And they took every man a censer, and put fire in them, and laid incense thereon, and stood before the door of the tabernacle of congregation with Moses and Aaron. And Korah gathered all the congregation against them unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the glory of the Lord appeared unto all the congregation. People are watching. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, Separate yourselves from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment. And they fell upon their faces, and said, O God, the God of the spirits of all flesh, shall one man sin, and wilt thou be wroth with all the congregation? Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak up to the congregation, say, Get you up from around the tabernacle of Korah and Dathan and Abiram. So get away from their tents. And they're using tabernacle as in lowercase t, not uppercase t. And Moses rose and went unto Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. And they spake unto the congregation, saying, Depart, I pray you, from the tents of those wicked men, and touch nothing of theirs, lest ye be consumed in all their sins. And they gat up from the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan and Abiram on every side. And Dathan and Abiram came out and stood in the door of their tents, and their wives and their sons and their little children. And Moses said, Hereby ye shall know that the Lord has sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them of mine own mind. If these men die the common death of all men, or if they be visited after a visitation of all men, then the Lord hath not sent me. But if the Lord make a new thing, and the earth open up her mouth, and swallow them up with all that appertain unto them, and they shall go down quick into the pit, ye shall understand that these men have provoked the Lord. And it came to pass that he made an end of speaking these words, that the ground clave asunder, and was under them. And the earth opened her mouth, and swallowed them up, and their houses, and all the men that appertained unto Korah, and all their goods. They and all that appertained to them went down alive into the pit, and the earth closed on them, and they perished among the congregation. And Israel that were around them fled at the cry of them, for they said, Lest the earth shall swallow us up also. And there came out a fire from the Lord, and consumed the 250 men that offered incense. That was pretty intense to see, I bet. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, that he take up censers out of the burning, and scatter thou the fire yonder, for they are all hallowed. The censers of these sinners against their own souls, let them make broad plates for a covering for the altar. And they offered them before the Lord, therefore they are hallowed, and they are a sign unto the children of Israel. And Eleazar the priest took brazen censers, wherewith they were burnt, that they had offered. And they made broad plates for the covering of the altar, as a memorial to the children of Israel, that no stranger, which is not the seed of Aaron, come near to offer incense before the Lord, that he be not as Korah and his company, as the Lord said by the hand of Moses. They took the metal and just made this memorial attached to the altar. And as if standing there and watching fire come out and watching the ground open wasn't enough, here we go. But on the morrow, all the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron, saying, Ye have killed the people of the Lord, as if it were Moses' fault. And it came to pass, when the congregation was gathered against Moses and against Aaron, they looked towards the tabernacle of congregation, and behold, the cloud covered it, and the glory of the Lord appeared. And Moses and Aaron came before the tabernacle of the congregation. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Get you up from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment. And they fell on their faces. And Moses said to Aaron, Take a censer, put fire therein from the altar, put on incense, and go quickly into the congregation, and make atonement for them. There is wrath gone out from the Lord. A plague has begun. And Aaron did as Moses commanded, and ran into the midst of the congregation. And behold, the plague begun among the people. And he put on incense and made atonement for the people. And he stood between the dead and the living, and the plague was stayed. Now they that died in the plague were 14,700, besides them that died about the matter of Korah. And Aaron returned unto Moses unto the door of the tabernacle of congregation, and the plague was stayed. This is intense, my friends. This is so intense. We think we can just waltz into church with any sort of attitude. This is the holy God. Yes, we count on his forgiveness from Jesus for all sorts of things. Yes, we're unclean, but we need to have an attitude that brings glory to God and shows that he is holy. Well, we're going to plunge on tomorrow. We'll catch you next time.